are listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. I'm thinking of this as a bonus episode because, I'm recording extra to catch up with the reviews that I recently found. Thank you, everyone, for the reviews. I don't want to get backlogged on those, so I'll probably be doing some extra recording here just so I can stay up to speed with your comments and notes and such. In fact, today's was inspired by... So I'm not on Instagram, but Harvey is. He has an Instagram manager who posts content. In fact, Instagram so much does not want me on their site that they sent me an email recently saying, your account, someone had tried to show me something, so I had started an account. I couldn't do it in my name. Someone already has Good Vibe Coach, so I tried to get it under Good Vibe U. Instagram wrote me and said, your account's locked. I'm just not meant to be on Instagram, but Harvey is. I think he's paused for the Harvmeister on Instagram. I could have that wrong. I think 4 is a number 4. I can't check it because guess what? I'm not on Instagram. Anyway, this is a comment that came through. I don't know if it came from either something, she maybe heard me on a video of Harvey on it, or if Harvey's manager posted a podcast link. I don't know. But here's what it said. This is from Old Flip Chick. I love this. Her voice is like a trigger of absolute happiness. I know, so cheesy, but truth. 3 exclamation points. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Old Flip Chick. I'm told that was a public comment so that it was okay to read on the podcast. And in fact, I told Harvey he wanted to be here for this episode because not only was it basically a review on his account, but he's also one of the subjects of our story, which may include some swear words. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I know some of you listen with children sometimes. I don't know. It might. Because, oh my gosh, guess what we're talking about today? This is rattlesnake avoidance class story time. We had the biggest adventure this weekend. Okay, so look, some people might be thinking, what? A rattlesnake avoidance class? Why would a savvy creator go to something that is focused on what you want to avoid? Well, I'll tell you the reason why. There's only one reason. I felt like it. It just felt good to me. Because it does make sense. Aren't you attracting rattlesnakes if you focus on trying to avoid them? Yes, that makes sense. But it was nothing but clear, powerful, inspired action for me to go when I heard about this. So we went. And remember how Abraham says it doesn't matter what you do. It only matters how you feel. And I feel better knowing my dogs have some training for this. It's not like this has been on my mind, but okay, a couple people posted stories. They posted in our local group about how they've been running across rattlesnakes on trails where they didn't used to. It's either drier or hot. I don't know. Something's bringing snakes out, and we hadn't run across one. Oh my gosh, though. We have run across snakes. I don't know my snakes. I probably wouldn't even know a rattler unless it was rattling. I don't know if they always do that. Do they always identify themselves? I don't even know. Oh boy. Wow. Can I jump high? I had no idea how high I can jump. See how natural it is for me? Okay, it's natural for me, but it isn't so natural for dogs, it turns out. For some maybe, but not all of them. So this class is designed to teach them a proper reaction when running across a rattlesnake. And she just trains them like, we're not going to expect the dog to know the difference between a safe snake and a rattlesnake. We're just going to train them all snakes to be avoided. Okay. All right. That struck me as a good idea. So, I knew I was going to feel better knowing after hearing some of these stories locally. Oh yeah. So I heard that people are seeing snakes, and also someone posted saying she was on a hike with her dog. Sure enough, they ran across a rattlesnake, and her dog had just been to the class, had graduated, and responded exactly like he was supposed to, meaning he avoided it. He sprinted away. Okay, so I was like, yeah, that for us, that would be fabulous. I just knew I would feel more confident. It would help me relax. I would have more peace of mind. So, yeah, it was nothing but a green light for me to go. Just powerful, positive clarity that this was inspired action for me. And that was Saturday night. We went to rattlesnake avoidance class. Look, I'm smiling about it because I was also excited to just meet other people and their dogs. I was. Oh, it was fun. It was super fun. Oh, and the girl who led it, she was so cool. So it turns out she is a lover of snakes as well as dogs, and she just brought her two loves together. She said she just wants to help everyone be well while enjoying their nature outings and to respect and be respected. She just had a super cool vibe. Her name is Haley. If you're in Utah and you're interested, actually she lives in Florida now, but she's from Utah. She teaches here regularly. Her website is utahsrattlesnakeavoidance.com. It's got an S on it. It's not just Utah Rattlesnake Avoidance. It's got an S, Utah's Rattlesnake Avoidance. Okay. Anyway, super, super cool girl. And she laid out how this class was going to go. And this is when two people left. Because she uses an e-collar. That's part of her training. She uses live snakes. They are not defanged. They are not devenomized or whatever that's called. They are intact, but she has them in a glass cage. Okay. So no one's really in any danger. And she explained why. She had really good reasons why. She also explained why she uses an e-collar. She said, it's not that I enjoy inflicting pain on your dogs. I don't. She said, I love all dogs, but this is effective. And the other methods she's tried aren't nearly as effective. She says when she's done it in other ways and tests them, they fail those tests left and right, and they pass. They pass when she uses this method. So I'm on board, but not everyone was. In fact, a woman standing right by me, I think it was her and her sister, she left when she learned there was going to be shocking involved. She was not down with it, and she said to me on her way out, my dog is sensitive enough already. Look, I don't know exactly what she meant by that, but I'm guessing she thought that startling her dog in this way was not going to be helpful. And I could see why someone would come to that conclusion. You know what? We all have different inspirations and different guidances. So I don't blame her. But it was just such clear, inspired. I didn't question. I knew this was good. Remember, I've talked about Samson's training when he went to the trainer for 4 weeks. I did an episode on that. I won't repeat that story here. But that's where he got named Winston by the trainer. And that guy taught me about e-collars. I am so on board with them after learning from professionals. The way everyone uses them is not appropriate, but if you're using them right, they could be just super humane. Okay. So the way she does it is she puts I got to be honest, I don't exactly know. Because part of this protocol included, she said, I'm not going to walk your dog past the snakes because we're not training your dog to be afraid of snakes with me. He needs to learn to be afraid of snakes with you. So you are going to walk him past the snakes, plural. It wasn't just one time. You are going to walk him past the snakes, and you got to be calm, cool, and collected when you're doing it because your tension, your stress will transmit through the leash, which I knew. And she said, so you've got to be cool. Okay, that's where I was glad I invited Chad to come with because I knew he would be more cool about it than I would be. I would be a little nervous about all of it. So the other thing she said was, we're not doing this. We're trying to replicate normal circumstances. So we're not going to do it in a circle with everyone standing around watching. She was like, just stay back. You don't want to distract your dog with an audience. So I had to peek through the bushes. Okay, and I didn't ask Chad exactly all about everything that happened, but oh my gosh, do I have some cool video. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So the first step is, can you tell how much I loved this? Oh my word, I loved this so much. We all did. I posted a video on my Facebook page, I think it was yesterday, where I said, it was a video of Harvey. Oh, I didn't want to say his name too loud because he's sleeping right now. Of Harvey and Samson, they're in this video, they look pretty exhausted. They look pretty worn out. It was because they'd been through the first round of the training. I'm laughing as I tell this story. We were all laughing as this was happening. We were all laughing. And that's kind of the point of my story because it seems sort of weird. Okay, so anyway, you're going to walk them past. This rattler is in a cage, glass cage, and it's got holes in the cage. I don't know if she amplified the sound. Chad thought she had a speaker or something because, we could hear it rattling from behind the bushes. We could hear it rattling, but you're supposed to walk your dog by just, hum-de-dum. We're just going on a walk. Oh, what's that? You let your dog investigate, and when the dog investigates, that's when she does her magic, because he's wearing the e-collar. She does her little magic mini shock. It's not a severe one, although she did put them in the order of most sensitive to least sensitive. That's how well she knows dogs. She had Harvey at the front of the group, and Samson was at the end of the group. And the reason she did that is because she wanted the sensitive ones to have more time to decompress before they got retested to make sure that it was effective. Okay, so you walk them past that. They get a little shock when they go to say, oh, hey, what's this? Ta-da, not cool. Okay, that's when they learn that. And then she's teaching them for sight, for sound, and for smell, so they got the scent too. So then he had to walk past a different thing, and I think it was another live snake. I think that one was for scent. I'm not entirely positive. And then after that, she put out a gopher snake, so there's no glass cage, and this was in a different area. This is all happening in different areas, so they don't start thinking, oh, it's over here by the sagebrush, or oh, it's over here on the patio. Where she was really good at what she did. She put Walter, her favorite gopher snake. She said, please don't let your dog bite my snake. Walter is really special. So then they go past Walter, who's just a gopher snake. He doesn't have to be in a glass cage. And if they approach Walter, they're going to get a shock there too. Most dogs by that point had wanted nothing to do with Walter. Okay, so that's the protocol. And every time someone's dog yelped, because she did the dogs one at a time. The rest of us stayed over here, and she would call them in the order that she had set up for everyone to go. And every time we heard someone's dog yelp, we would smile and we would laugh and we would cheer. We celebrated because that's how it's supposed to go. That's how you know it's working. And yes, we did have a couple ahs, like when the dogs came back, we'd be like, oh, are you okay? Was it so scary? We loved up on all each other's dogs. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. So we were soothing every dog that we came across, but we also knew this was a good thing. Oh my word. So after the fourth time that we were cheering, and I was like, is this strange that we're celebrating a dog's yelp? In fact, the dog that got the biggest laugh, the dog that got the biggest laughs, it was actually Winston and Harvey. Winston because his yelp was the loudest, and Harvey because he did a backflip. He never did yelp. Harvey didn't yelp once, but he practically did a backflip. He contorted to get away from Walter the gopher snake. He wanted nothing to do with it. And she didn't even shock him. He didn't even need a shock. He just knew, no snakes, nothing. Don't want no part of it. We loved it. We just loved it. And then there was Dexter, the golden doodle, after he was done. Oh, my word. He was sitting on the porch. He looked like he had the worst hangover ever. Like if a dog could have a hangover, he looked like he had one. He was so adorable. I took a picture of him, too. I know we sound a little bit like sadists that we were loving this, but we were dog lovers. We were dog lovers through and through who knew that there are rattlesnakes up here on the trails that we walk. And for some people, it's even around their houses. Not even you got to leave your house. Sometimes it's around their houses. And we knew that a dog that was smart enough to avoid a snake is a dog that has a better chance of living to see another day. So we knew this was a good thing. That's why we were celebrating at our dog's pain. I know that sounds terrible. I so wish you could have been there. I hope I'm describing it properly. How happy we were to see our dogs learning so well. It was working exactly how it was meant to work. And when I saw us doing this, I just couldn't help but think how that this is how our divine team sees us sometimes. You know how we have a divine team, or our higher self, or our guardian angel, or our inner being, or guide, whatever you want to call it. I just imagined them standing in circles celebrating us when we get zapped. I don't mean that exactly literally, but when we experience our contrast, our pain, our whoa, that was not cool moments, how they might be celebrating that for us. Because remember how this was such an interesting concept to me. It had never occurred to me until I heard Abraham say that sometimes our inner being steers us into contrast on purpose. Normally Abraham's teaching is always, you can trust your inner being. It takes you where you want to go, just follow that inner guidance. And the inner guidance is always speaking to us via our joy or our inspiration or our relief. Whatever feels better, that's your inner wisdom saying this way do dreams come true. Right? We know that message. And then one day I heard them say, sometimes your inner being steers you into contrast on purpose. It's like, WTF? But they went on to explain, and it not only made perfect sense, I could see it in my own life. I've talked about this before, so you probably know this, but sometimes we're following our guidance straight into a crap situation. It seems like, right? When you take a new job and it turns out to be a nightmare, or you move to a new place and it is not the dream come true home you thought it was going to be. Or like that time I invested a hefty amount in my business, total inspired action, and it was a big chunk of change for me. And turned out I couldn't work with the guy at all. It was a very expensive experience. And you might be wondering, well, what's going on there? We were aligned, we were inspired, and it didn't turn out like expected. And look, we know sometimes it's possible that we weren't as aligned as we thought we were, or that it wasn't actually inspiration speaking, or sometimes it's that, things didn't go so wrong. It's just we were in a bad mood as we were looking at it, so our perspective is a little bit skewed. But sometimes, legit, we were aligned, we were inspired, we did take that inspired action, and it turned out awful. Sometimes that's how it actually was. And Abraham has said, yeah, well, sometimes your inner guidance does that on purpose because of the benefit it knows you get from that contrast. What? Yeah, that. And I believe I have more than one example of it. And I've shared this one before, so you might have heard it. But remember when I was house hunting for years? Me, master manifester. I like to think of myself as a master manifester. And it took me years. I've got clients that can manifest a new house in a couple days. And here I was. It was taking me not months, years. Okay. I was like, what in the world kind of a failure of a manifester am I that I can't even manifest a house? A house that's easy to believe in? Oh, but here's what I realized in hindsight. Because it was major contrast for me to not be. It was major contrast. But in hindsight, after hearing that from Abraham, what I realized was that the longer it took me, the more clarity I got about what I wanted. Like every house I looked at that wasn't quite right, it gave me a better idea about what was right. Like, I don't want to be this close to a highway. I don't want to live on a school street again. I don't want to be this close to the county dump. I don't want this long a driveway to keep clear of snow. I don't want a house without all the window. I don't want something this late. Like all these not-thises were informing me about what I did want. And that was helpful. That contrast helped me have more clarity about what I did want. Okay, so that was one helpful thing. And another was that I learned to stop trying to talk myself into something that wasn't inspired because, I'd be looking at a close but not quite place. And when I tried to force it, it just didn't come together. And I learned after doing that like 3 times, this doesn't work. Don't try to talk yourself into something that you don't love 100%. 80% isn't good enough, Jeanette. Stop trying to make it work. It doesn't. Okay, I learned that. Wow, that feels like there was also some receiving skills in there too, wasn't there? Like, yeah, I wasn't settling. Well, it wouldn't settle. It wouldn't compromise. I tried. I was making offers on stuff. The third thing I learned was that the longer it took and the more that I looked and the more I realized what I wanted, the better I got at saying yes to what I truly desired. Because over the time that I house hunted, I grew into what I used to think of as a someday desire that I imagined, when I was older and retired, as if I'm ever going to retire. I love what I do way too much. But I just imagined, in the final years, in the golden years, someday where I would be living would be something like, just magical, right? But that was for someday, not for today. For now, in fact, I started my house hunt looking for basically what I was leaving. I wanted a nice place in the suburbs, away from traffic. I wanted, enough yard. I wanted privacy. I wanted to stay close to all my favorite restaurants and stores and people. I wanted the place that I was in, except one that didn't have my ex in it. But over time, I thought, because moving is not my joy. With all those cats, not my joy. Plus, I'm a fourth house Taurus. Moving is not our gig. So I was like, if I have to do this, then I'm going to make it worthwhile. I'm going to get into something even better. So what would make it even better? And as I pondered that, I realized something that was closer to nature. Something that had better views of the mountains. That would be nice. Something that had a bigger yard, maybe some more room. I got a lot of cats. Something that's still close to the rest of the world, though, because I didn't want to get too far away. So finding that perfect balance, that's what I was looking for. And the more I looked away from the city, the braver I got to leave what I was used to. And the more comfortable I got with the idea of something really different than what I initially started with. And this would not have happened if that first offer I made on that first house in the suburbs, that woman who had a copy of The Secret in her library, and I was like, she and I are going to do fine together in closing this deal. No, we did not. We did not. That's my inner being. It was my inner being steering me into contrast. It made it even better. It made it even better. Because by the time I saw this place where I am right now, my audio editor's going to have to do something with the volume on this because I shouted that a little bit. Sorry. By the time I saw this place, I'm going to cry again. Oh my gosh, I was crying earlier telling you how much fun we had watching our dogs get zapped. But, I'm going to cry again now. So by the time I saw this place, I had gotten more expansive in my ideas about what I could do, not just what I could afford, but oh my gosh, also that, because hello, this was double in price what I initially thought was my maximum that I could afford. But man, I grew my confidence, not just that the financing would work out for something that I really wanted. And with that, I just knew universe would clear the way for me. And it did. It so did. It was because, I was still on the hook for my other place. And they don't split that stuff just because there's two people on it. Anyway, I also grew confident in what I was capable of running on my own, Because everyone told me, Jeanette, you are crazy. You are crazy. That is not going to work. You are not going to be able to do that on your own. And all the people who told me, you better not move up there and think you're ever going to meet anyone because dating up there is not going to work. Oh, they did not know who they were talking to on that one either. But yeah, by the time I pulled up here, oh my gosh, I knew this was it. I knew it. I knew that this wasn't for someday, but this is for today. This was for today. This is, over time, after looking at a bazillion places, I learned how to allow what I really wanted. My someday dream, it became a right now dream. Oh my gosh, but not even a dream, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, this is it. And I told my agent, I said, this, and he was like, it just sold yesterday. And I said to him, buy me this house, Todd. I said it. I never felt that conviction with any of the others. I never did. And he did. He bought me this house. In fact, you know who? I think that my agent, he was actually my second agent, my first one. She got a little fed up with me. I mean, we were working together for a while. We looked at a lot of houses together, but she got mad when I didn't do a deal with her boss that I didn't realize was going to get her a commission. She had some sharp words for me on that, and I didn't realize. I was like, hello, conflict of, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so that's how I ended up in what I imagined was my someday dream. Near the end of my career, the end of my life, that I'd someday make it to the point where I could live the ultimate dream come true. Near the mountains, next to nature, with my animals, gorgeous views everywhere, with some real room to ourselves. Like I could have other animals besides just dogs and cats. I could have goats. I could have horses. Oh, man. And you know what? It was that bitch contrast who set me up for this. The one that we're always complaining about. The one that we think is so wrong. It was all those wrong turns and all those false starts and those frustrating dead ends and painful experiences that brought me here to heaven. I live in heaven. It's my heaven. I know it isn't everyone else's. Oh my gosh, but it is so mine. It is so mine. And that's just one example. You've heard me talk about that boss who wrote me up for the most ridiculous thing you ever heard of. And when, in an attempt to fire me, I realized, oh, they're putting a file together. I'm going to lose this job. That's when I realized I got to go. This isn't going to work. And I'd known for so long that I wanted to be a coach, but I hadn't dared. I didn't dare. I didn't dare chase what didn't seem like a realistic dream. And I didn't dare give up a smart career. It was a good, successful career that I'd spent a lot of time building. I didn't know how to walk away. Oh, guess what? Contrast. She knows how to get this handled. And you know what? Even then, I still got another job at another bank. And that was a dream come true job, but only for like a few months. Because in short order, I realized, oh, this is the kind of stressful that's untenable. I didn't want to get used to this way of life. I am not going to live like this. So I only had that dream come true turned nightmare job for a few months before I quit to start a coaching practice. And the truth is, if I still worked for Kim Stevens at Zions Bank, I'd probably still be there. I loved Kim. I still love Kim. And I loved that job. I didn't aspire to anything outside of that job. It wasn't until they replaced him with a new manager that job became something that seriously violated my personal integrity. Like, Contrast is the hero of that story who brought me to something so much better. I mean, you know how I talk about I live in heaven? Oh, I do. I'm doing my heavenly... Okay, that sounds kind of arrogant, doesn't it? This is my dream come true job. I live in my dream come true house and I'm doing my dream come true work. And that's only thanks to Contrast. Contrast brought me to this so much better than I even knew was possible for me. That bigger than... I mean, I didn't even dare fantasize. Contrast did that for me. I didn't do that for myself. Contrast did. Okay, so that's why I think we were all laughing at our dog's reactions to getting buzzed at meeting snakes, because we knew from our higher perspective, the higher perspective than they had anyway, that we knew this was ultimately good for them. We knew, sure, it's not pleasant. I'm sorry, it was funny. It was funny. We knew it wasn't pleasant, but it was going to be so worth it. I think that's worth keeping in mind the next time we're bitching up a storm about something gone wrong in our world, that maybe our divine team is up there giggling their butts off at how cute we are when we think something awful just happened. It isn't something awful that just happened. It might very well be. That's all Contrast does, is make it even better. It just keeps getting even better over and over and over again. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my story. And if you get a chance to go to Rattlesnake Avoidance class, I highly recommend it, but only if you're inspired, because remember, it doesn't... Oh, how many episodes do I have on It's Not the Tea? It's not the... Oh, I've got so many of those episodes where I get the vibration plate. I get lit up about something. I'm like, whoa, this will change your life. No, it changed my life. But what really changed my life was my vibration. And when you get your vibration in place, what changes for you or what inspires you to that, it could be totally different. So, the people who left our class, they did the right thing. If they didn't feel good about it, they 100% did the right thing, because it doesn't matter what we do. It only matters how we feel. Feeling good, that alignment is where everything good comes from. I thought that was kind of a fun example of it. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I'm looking forward to, except I was going to say never having to put it to the test, but we already did put the dogs to the test when before we left, she gave us a chance to let them off leash in a field where they could go. There was a snake out there. And guess what? Every single dog passed with flying colors. Samson, his flying colors were so flying. He just, as soon as he was off leash, he made a beeline for the car. He didn't want no part of this no more. I'm laughing. I sure wasn't laughing when I couldn't find my house. But in hindsight now, I hope the next time that I just thought of something. Oh, remember? I kind of blow my nose. I remember when this was so bad. I mean, my worst contrast, let's face it, is losing one of my animals. And oh my gosh, one day I was faced with, it was Joe, I believe. I don't know if y'all remember Joe. Some longtime listeners might. Man, he was a good dog. And, wait, was it Joe? Who was it? I think it was Joe when, I don't remember what happened, but it was life-threatening. And it looked like I was going to lose him. And at first I was horrified. I was like, this dog, he's my very best. He's like, what? I'm going to lose him? But then I remembered, I'm so proud of myself that this isn't even, oh my gosh, I'm so emotional. This isn't even hypothetical for me to say, I hope next time I'm facing severe contrast, I remember this. Oh, I remember when I did. I remember when it looked like I was going to lose Joe, and I sure don't remember the backstory of it. I've talked about it before, but I can't remember it right now. And what I realized was, whoa, something terrible. That means just something amazing's coming. Something amazing is coming. Remember, I learned that from the massage therapist who, when she lost her job, and she said, wow, something really good must be getting ready to happen. And she inspired me to practice that at a way deeper level than I ever had before. And when that looked like I'm going to lose my dog, and I said, really, universe? You think you can do better than Joe? Joe's like the best dog, but if Joe's leaving, then something even better's coming. Okay, universe, if you think you can top Joe, okay. And I was open. I was genuinely open to it. I was like, because I trusted something even better's coming. And guess what? Joe didn't die. I don't remember what it was. I can't remember if he was lost or if he was sick or what happened. And I only think it was Joe. I can't even exactly remember. Pretty sure it was Joe. And he was fine. He was totally fine for a while. I don't know how much longer till he did pass, but then guess who came? It's just going to keep happening. My dogs are going to keep getting better and better and better. I know it because that's how it works. I've lived it too many times to doubt it. And every time I think, well, there's not going to be a dog better than this. Guess what? There is. I am so delighted with how this system works. I hope you are too. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, everyone. Happy manifesting.